Hey everyone, welcome to Games for Love, and we're super happy to have you here today. We are going to be talking about how does volunteering time at GFL benefit kids. So we're super excited about this topic. It's been something that a lot of people have asked about, and so we're finally doing this and being able to share exactly how all of the time and resources that are put into GFL go back to helping kids and the magic of it all. So when you decide to volunteer to help, that's the first step. Just right there, that's a huge decision. Thank you so much for making that choice. You then work on a project. You get introduced to your team. You're working on that project. It completes. It's shipped. And so we publicly launch games with the intent to make a revenue. And that revenue then goes back to help GFL programs that benefit kids. So that's how it all works, is that once we have a revenue off of a game, we are going to then send it to the kids. So revenue that goes to GFL programs that benefit kids. What does that look like? What does it mean? Let's go deep diving into this. And you're going to see this little man here on the bottom here. He is going to show us the progress of the slides, tracking the journey. All right. So your time is converted into money that then fuels impact worldwide. And so consider and take into your thought process that whole concept that, you know, when you're spending time making games or working on our projects, and when we release them, that is going back to helping the kids once it releases. So if it doesn't release, there's no helping the kids at that point. So it's really important to stick through it all. There's ups and downs in development, as you know. And, you know, we're super excited to be able to do this with you and partner with you on this. So your individual impact, because you're giving your time, could be more than you ever dreamed. It could be possible. Convertible multiple can be applied. What that means is that, you know, you might be able to donate $1, $10, $100, $1,000, right? But when you're working and spending your time on a project, and when that project gets released, it's possible that the conversion multiple can be applied, where that time is increased beyond what you'd ever be able to give 2 times, 10 times, 100 times, 1,000 times. Power level 9,000 for all my friends out there who love Dragon Ball Z. When was the last time you donated $16,000 to charity? The chances are pretty high that that's never happened for a majority of the population. But the reason why we're able to put this as a specific number is that there's been studies that have been done specifically on Steam that the average game release makes about $16,000. There's games that make more, there's games that make less. But on the average side of it, 16,000 is about the amount that is done. So, you know, by working with teams and working together and then releasing it on a platform such as Steam, it's not the only platform that we work with. We work with Android, iOS, we work with consoles, we work with VR. All of the consoles or all of the different types of platforms we also can go onto. So, you know, we're not specifically targeting any single platform. We can go anywhere. But what if projects fail? That's a great question. It's one that we hear, and it's something that we need to address and to share with how a project succeeds first. How does a project succeed in this model? And what that looks like. So, which is why we rely on something called the Game Review Board. The Game Review Board is a team of individuals that come together, that are professionals in the process of approving games for studios to work on before investment goes into it, before investment's made or time is made, that they look at that. And they also track metrics to make sure that the game testing and everything that is a part of that is successful. So there's a sprint process. We make a core loop, just a MVP, get it out there, test metrics, see how it does. If it does poorly, we have to skip the project. If it does well, we continue on with it. Now, we're able to take a little bit more risk than a normal studio because we're working with teams that are volunteering time, but that we still want to be able to make sure that that time is being utilized for the best possible projects to be able to help with the most impact, so that time is not wasted. Time is valuable. Time is important. It's important to you. It's important to us. And so we're trying to value that time as much as possible by making sure that the time we're spending is spent on the most high-level, important processes and games and projects that we can possibly put forward. So the Game Review Board is our vetting process comprised of gaming and tech industry pros who are expertise in the market, kind of went over that. But a project is pitched by anyone that has completed a project already, and then that person can then, if approved, will become the producer of this new project. Now, it doesn't mean that you're only the producer. You could also do other tasks, but you'll be helping organize and lead a team as well, which is a great opportunity and experience for everyone in the industry. So that once a project gets approved, we start looking at the team around it. So the trusted producer basically is the one that's moving it forward, that's communicating progress and needs to the Game Review Board. The producer with GFL, volunteers must have it hit a certain rank to be able to achieve it. We talked a little bit about it. And then be asked to become one or asked to become one. This includes at least 2 ship projects with GFL. That's kind of our minimum standard. Or you can do different things like different channels or levels with our bigger projects. Like, for example, channel surfing. Channel surfing has multiple games, which would count as a ship product. So you work on 2 of those, you'd be able to then take on your own project. And you'd be able to pitch your own game idea to the Game Review Board, and we'd be able to form a team around you and with you and to make that happen. So really the team producer has a proven track record of making games with volunteers from conception to release, or being able to stick it through and then works with the team until the game is ready to ship. Of course, you have timelines and time frames, but that's how it looks. Personal benefits to volunteering with GFL. You can do this from anywhere. We're 100% remote based. That goes into our core values and our culture as well. You can level up your skills. You get networking opportunities. You get be a part of a community of passionate devs. Volunteer grants that are a part of that. If you are a part of like a big organization like Microsoft or Adobe. OPT and CPT programs. If you are a F1 visa holder, you can be accepted and work with us remotely, which is phenomenal for those of you who don't have opportunities to work at studios, maybe you're in remote parts of the USA. Excellent for you. You get to work with other professionals in the industry and being able to get those connections. You can be the change. You get to use your time for impact. That's incredible. Learn new skills while you're working on these projects. Improve your portfolio. Fun working on exciting projects. Double the donation for those of you who are working with different companies that offer double the donation. You donate a certain amount, and then you get to donate, or your company will donate the matching amount, which is awesome. Fulfill required volunteer hours for those of you who have volunteer hours and need a respectable organization. We can approve you for that. You get mentors and mentor interns. You can mentor others if you're a professional, as well as receive it if you're not. And then volunteer recognition and awards. For example, we just gave away recognition and awards to be able to send 4 people to GDC this year. We're super excited about it. It was awesome. And that's the kind of stuff that we'd like to be able to continue doing. And that starts with great volunteers. And, you know, like you are and like you're going to be. And so we're super excited to have you. And so looking at like the corporate side, if you own a company and you're looking at this going, hey, I'd like to get my company involved. Why is volunteering time at a nonprofit interesting and also going to help us in some capacity? Now, not all corporations think that way, but it's great for them to be able to know that by referring people over, that there is something that they do get. So, for example, there's $160 billion spent on training and education every year. By working with a project like with us on a team, you're getting skills and learning new training and traits that you would never get just working on the job. I mean, there's different things and different experiences you get to have in taking on new experimental technologies and things that your employees may not have an opportunity to do for various other reasons. So they get to work and broaden out their skill sets, which then goes back to the company and it's helpful. There's less turnover. As the PwC study revealed, employees most committed to their organizations put in 57% more effort on the job and are 87% less likely to resign than employees that consider themselves disengaged. That's really great. There's roughly 40 million fluctuation in providing volunteer opportunities. It goes far beyond feeling good. Employees who participate in these programs often become more engaged in their daily work, and increased engagement directly impacts the bottom line. A study done by SAP showed roughly 40 million in revenue fluctuation when employee engagement rose or fell by just 1%. That's why it's really important for people to feel engaged and feel like what they're doing has a purpose. Meaningful work means attracting the best. So you want to be able to get the best people. You want to be competitive in your industry. That's why, well, it's very well known that employees want to work for companies that care. In fact, Cone research found that 79% of people prefer to work for a socially responsible company. So great traits, great things to think about. But what it all boils down to, whether you're volunteering and a part of a company or not, or however that works, it boils down to purpose. In human nature, we desire to have an opportunity to be a part of something bigger than ourselves, for something that lasts. That's what Games for Love is. When you make a game, it's not just fun, but that fun is then generating revenue to then go be able to help benefit kids in hospitals and other places around the world. It might save a life. It might give them ease their suffering with giving them a less isolating experience in a hospital by providing a console and some games. It might be able to help a hospital to have custom code that connects kids together and allows them to play. There's a lot of different things that we can do in our organization if we have the resources to do it. And so we need those resources to be able to push forward the mission and the impact of what we do. And that is why generosity is one of our core values. And just talking a little bit about it here, the true measure of success is not how much you take or keep, but rather the true measure of success is how much you're able to give. Think about that for a second. That's an incredible statement. How much you're able to give. That should design or define how you determine success. Let's keep going. So our 5-year mission is that we want to positively impact the lives of 10 million children in 5 years through our programs. So talking about why revenue is important is because we need to be able to have that resource to be able to help 10 million children. How is that going to happen? That's a lot of people. Walk me through what it looks like. Good question. Timeline for our reach engagement. We want to be able to reach 1 million this year, 2020. It'll raise up to 2 million for next year and the year after to 2022. And then 2 million in year 4, and then 3 million in 2024. And then that is a total of 10 million children reached within 5 years. And then we'll be able to reach around 3 million children every year after that. We're really scaling up our engagement and impact year by year. We're a new organization. We've been doing this for just a little bit under 2 years. We've been a 501c3 at the time of making this video, 1 year and a half, about 1.5. And we're super excited about what's happening, and we're scaling it, but we need help, and we need your help to do it. So like what it looks like for like One Up Life Bridge, GFLX, things that we want to be able to bring out beyond the US once we're able to. Right now for One Up Life Bridge, which you heard about in our other video talking about the different programs we run, which saves the lives of children. We're running it right now in Philippines. There's 104 million people. There's 40 million children, 20 million children without adequate health care, and 1.8 million abandoned children. That's astronomical. It's a big problem. And by partnering with local hospitals, we're able to fix that, or at least in the healthcare department, and then helping get them the resources that they need to then help them through these life's different challenges that they experience there. Like, for example, our Kids Code program, giving them specialized job skills that are STEM-based education skills that they'll stick with them for life. In North America, we have 364 million people, give or take. There's 73.7 million children, and there's 220 plus children's hospitals that are nationwide. There's way more hospitals on top of that have pediatric units. There's a lot of different children's locations that are around that we want to be able to engage with. Child well-being centers, homeless shelters, women and children centers, different things like that we also would like to be a part of. And then looking out past 2024, we were looking at places like Brazil with One Up Life Bridge. There's 212 million people, 70 million children, 35 million children without adequate health care, and up to 8 million abandoned children. As a pure example, one of the reasons why we've started this whole program was that one of our partners had a child that was in Philippines. He was unfortunately bitten by a dog. The dog gave him rabies, and it's a simple shot that could have saved his life, but because how everything works in Philippines, you have to have money up front to be able to get care. This child and the family were not able to come up with the care that was needed in time to be able to save the child's life, and unfortunately they passed away. And that really, that story just hits a chord with me, which is the reason why One Up Life Bridge exists. And so we want to be able to have adequate health care there for children when they need it so that they have a chance at life. We want to give them that. That's what we're all about. Let's keep moving on. So allocation of funds, how does it get distributed? We have a minimum annual budget of $5.1 million. What that looks like is the admin and overhead is about $500,000 to help with staff to be able to continue to run these programs, to run the team, not the teams, but the programs that run the organization. They handle all the programs. They're working on the business end. People like our web director, our development director, our events director, our operations, myself, and then also we have a project director. All of these director level positions run the entire organization of volunteers that run the organization to be able to have the impact in the first place. Without that, everything else can't function. We have merch, promo, and items that we give away to kids in hospitals, as well as sell at industry events, which is 2% of our total. Marketing and conferences and outreach, that's being able to get the word out there, being able to share who we are with the general public. We go to industry events. You'd see us at like PAX, GDC, E3, these types of places, or at least be able to meet with us at these places. Scholarships, Interns International, $100,000. That goes into things like, we'll go into more detail in the next slide, but it goes into things like our licensing for different programs and industry tools that we need and different things like that, cloud-based tools. Scholarships, and that's 9.8%. Kids of Code at $450,000. That's able to drive forward the program. It's over the cloud. It's on demand. One Up Life Bridge, about $1.45 million to be able to help save the lives of children. And GFLX, which is about $1.85 million, about 36%, a little over 36% of all that we do. And going into the next slide, sharing like specifically what the breakdown looks like, where the impact is going, and how everything goes. So if a dollar is given, for example, you can look here and go, okay, a dollar. So GFL overhead is like 10 cents maybe, 2 cents, 2.9 cents, etc. It's and then 28 cents is going to go to One Up Life Bridge, and 36 cents is going to go towards GFLX, which is phenomenal impact. We're impact focused, all right? So GFLX, $20,000 average for each of our 92 hospitals that we're going to be partnering with, hopefully by the end of the year here. Looks like about, it's going to be able to generate about 1 million children that are impacted this year, and that'll scale as we're able to get up closer to that 220 hospital mark, children's hospital mark. And doing events at hospitals is only 1/10 of what GFLX does. We're doing best practices, we're looking at total operations, game systems, repairs, facilities, end-of-life treatments and equipment, software and hardware needs, custom tech, like the code we were talking about for connecting kids and different things like that. That type of opportunity that we create a custom plan around for each hospital will be able to affect 1 million children this year, we hope, as long as we can get the amount that we need to do that. One Up Life Bridge, $50 average, will impact approximately 40,000 children in 2020. That's an awesome number. $5 average is access for 90,000 children in 2020 for Kids of Code. And every child and kid that we interact with, we're giving access to Kids of Code with. So the 1 million children that we're interacting with as a part of GFLX, the 40,000 children that we're working with LifeBridge, we're giving all of these kids access to Kids of Code so that they have an opportunity. And we're looking to have 90,000 children this year. Scholarships, $2,500 per student will allow us to give up to 200 scholarships in 2020 with $500,000. I don't need to probably say how important that is for everybody that's going through scholarships that have been impacted with either healthcare needs or situational needs, where we offer a character-based scholarship. The admin and overhead, we have 8 full-time core team members, and over 250, closer to 300 at the time of making this video, for making the games, working on the different aspects of the organization, and being able to push forward the awareness and message of what we're all about. Marketing and conferences, being able to be there at these conferences, set up booth spaces, allows us to get into the industry more, allows us to partner with gaming companies, allows us to network. And so we're looking at the 12 top industry events. That gives us hopefully about a $40,000 budget to be able to go to these conferences, share the awareness, and in return, I believe and hope that working with these different companies will be far greater exceeded of an opportunity and benefit than the spend that we do that, but it's still really important, even if there wasn't anything there, just to get the word out and to share who we are and what we're doing. Travel and branding, to be able to get everything out there that goes into the merch, the items that we need to give away at different GFLX events, whether that be industry related or impact related, where we're giving them away to kids. But either or, when we do sell items, it basically covers the cost to be able to give away items back to kids, and that's how we do that. And then Interns International, a big part of what we do in helping transition young adults to their careers. We currently have 250 interns in our programs, and we desire to provide career services, recruiter help, mentoring, leading technology to pay for licensing products such as Unity, Adobe Suite, Atlassian Suite, Amazon AWS, and all the cloud costs that come with that. It's quite expensive to be able to provide these cutting-edge tools in which to work and gain industry experience, but we have great partners like Amazon and like some of these other names here that help us with reduced cost licenses to help our relationships with world-leading companies to turn to introduce interns to, which are things that you earn as an intern. So then global population by country, we're not going to go into this too much, but it's certainly a great slide to understand what this looks like and the reach and where the need exists. We certainly see that these are the areas that we want to affect and bring help to, starting with the US and then Philippines being our first international pilot. And that is the end. So thank you so much for considering volunteering and being a part of our organization. Hopefully this sheds some light on the whole process of what it looks like and why volunteering for Games for Love benefits kids in such a huge way. And without your help, we would not be able to make that happen. We need your help to be able to impact and benefit children in all of these ways. And the whole concept of what we're doing is that global life cycle ecosystem that allows the program ecosystem, which allows children to go from one step to the other, and doesn't just place a band-aid on their situation by giving them a console and say, hey, play your pain away. The distraction therapy is important and it's needed, but there's deeper things to the problems that need to be solved, that we look at this from a foundational level and want to solve on a global scale to be able to help kids and impact them in their lives, not just to give them a little something, but to fix a lot of these grounded foundational problems that we see in the world. So thank you all so much for spending time with me, and we'll talk more on the next video about culture and core values. Have a great day. Bye.